All right, everybody, good evening. Everybody out there, I'm going to have myself a great show tonight. First of all, I want to welcome everybody to Unfiltered. So everybody know what's pretty much going on and how we do things here. We ain't got to go through all that rigmarole about what y'all need to do. It don't change, it's the same. Repetition. Share.
Share it, please.
Share, yeah. Share, keep hitting that share button until your hands bleed. And we got, like I said, we got a great show tonight. We are starting, well, I didn't realize, and it kind of lined up. This is how you know great minds think alike in some ways. The player from the Himalayas came up with an outstanding idea saying we need to interview some women because we love showing women love. Women account for over 58% of our viewership, of our following, and we appreciate y'all so much. And it's ironic that March is Women's History Month. So we are gonna start it. I got so excited that we decided we're gonna start it early. And we picked one incredible person to be on this show with. And before I do the introduction of our guests, I'm going to let our co-host and the greatest podcast crew in the land introduce themselves only the way they know how.
Y'all know what it is, man. Welcome to Unfiltered. It's your boy, the Don Magic One, that light-skinned player from them Himalayas, man. Welcome to Unfiltered. Thank you for watching. As y'all stream in here, start sharing and liking, please, and thank you. We got a great show for y'all today.
This is your boy, Mac Daddy, 1/4 of Unfiltered. Thank y'all for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Please continue to do so. We got an amazing show for y'all.
All right. Now, starting off, one, I want to give, see, I know she's going to do her own introduction, but because I'm such an outstanding oracle of words, I'll go ahead and I'll start it off. First of all, not only do we have an amazing pastor, author, retired federal, I'm correct, right?
Yeah.
Was that federal
officer?
Federal parole officer with us today. Very accomplished, humble woman, incredible. She also happens to be my godmother. So, and all of this being said, we cannot pick a better. As soon as I asked her, as soon as we found out that we talked about women, she was the first woman that popped into my head. And it's incredible because she has a book. She actually has two. She actually has two books. But this incredible book, great read. You can get this on Amazon, correct?
Correct.
Yep. Amazon, everybody, Nuggets to Live By. Very outstanding book. Suggest everyone get it. I tell you, it's a good read. for everyone who hasn't done it yet, man, it's incredible. And I know a lot of people call this, and we're going to go more in detail about it as we let her introduce herself in her own way as well. So for everyone out there, I just want to give the floor and let her introduce herself, Miss Pastor, however you want to prefer to become it, Miss Linda Faye Anderson. Thank you for being on Unfiltered, and we appreciate you. So to all our guests, thank you so much. I don't know if you want to do an introduction yourself to let all our fans and everyone else know about you as well.
All right. Well, hello to everyone. And thank you guys for having me on. I'm honored that you asked me. Appreciate you guys. But my name is Linda Anderson, and as you said, I'm Randy's aunt. Don't have to have the fancy titles, but I'm his aunt, and I have been in the ministry for about 20 years. I was saved when I was 14, came from Christian parents. My mom and my dad was a preacher. My mom was saved when she was 14. I have two beautiful adult children. As Randy said, I'm not a retired federal parole officer. I actually was a pretrial officer, but I am a retired federal officer, retired in 2015. And as he said, I've written a couple of books, one Nuggets to Live By, and the other one, it's a letter and a prayer for married couples. And not that I'm an expert on marriage, but I do have some things that I've learned after being married for 27 years that I'd like to share with some people and maybe help some marriages out. So, I would like to get into that. But just glad to be here. And hopefully something that I say will be able to help somebody or help you in your situation. And again, thank you guys for having me.
Welcome.
You've got to mention one important thing, that you my auntie too.
Yes, I am. Sorry, man.
All right, yeah.
I am.
I gotta take a point, auntie.
Mac is my nephew. I love him dearly.
I was about to say, continue.
Man, already, bro.
So I got I'm glad you brought up a lot of things. The biggest thing that we really want to bring up coming to this Women Month, because we got so much. We are really people. If they didn't watch our show, and we are so grateful for the amount of shares and the views that we get all the time. And the biggest thing that stuck out to us is that our fan base is over half, more than half, are women. And contrary to what other people believe, that may believe when they hear bits and pieces of Unfiltered, they might say, which I don't understand how they could ever say it, that it could be women bashing, because it's actually 180 degrees different than that. So, and I believe that's evident because of our fan base from all of the women that have followed us and continually be commenting on us. So we appreciate every single one of y'all. And as we are here tonight, as I said, if you are watching, share. We know that's number one. Y'all know, don't get Jordan mad. Y'all know Jordan don't like that. Jordan don't like that, no watching and no sharing. Y'all better don't do it. Don't be doing it, man.
Please
don't
share.
Be doing it.
Get in, man. As soon as you get in.
Hey, so I'm gonna shout out John. Thank you, man. We miss you too, man. We gonna get you back on here sooner or later, man. Appreciate you so much. Miss Kathy, hey, how you doing? We hope everything all right for you. Look, Miss Kathy, I got something for you. And for every one of our fans out there as well, we have our Unfiltered merch that is available. Miss Kathy, this one is yours. Look at that, you savvy. Everybody else with Unfiltered, you can always get that merch. All you gotta do is go to our Unfiltered email at unfilteredmrjohnson@gmail.com for that merch as well. Let's kind of get it started with something real light, something real quick that's been going on, and I'm kind of curious to see what you know, and then we'll get more into any other questions. The question that we have for you tonight.
Yep.
Like I said, we're trying to set some people free and hopefully get some always some more wisdom out there. So one thing in particular, and this for every single one of y'all, we know that right now we are in this pandemic in schools. The big thing is about schools and virtual learning.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people say that students are not performing or getting the best education possible because of the virtual learning.
Yep.
Now, people probably be surprised to hear my comments on this, but I just want to get y'all point of view in regards to, unless y'all want me to say what I kind of feel first, and y'all can get the general where I'm trying to go with this.
You want to go first, Jordan?
Yeah. Personally, for me, right now, I'm working in the Rochester Hills school district, and they're kind of doing a half and half, half online, half in school, and it's been a lot of complaints, man, because again, the teachers are doing what they would normally do or trying to do what they would normally do in class, but there's a lot of self-teaching going on right now. They're going at their days are a lot shorter, so they're doing half days in class, so they're missing a whole other half of what information they would usually get. So again, I'm gonna go away from it and say it's not the best. It's not helping them currently.
I definitely agree with Jordan, especially I have nieces, nephews, and little cousins right now who are currently taking online classes. And the thing that I take from it that we kind of see now that the schools are closed is that parents are actually more hands-on with their learning and actually with the children. So it's a lot more difficult than anticipated actually doing online courses and schoolwork. And if the parents aren't really involved or weren't involved before, it is really handicapping their students. Also, it's not just for kids that attend the public schools, charter schools. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's a very complex thing to take the grasp of. So it's not really helping. But I think a positive that we can pull out of it is that parents are being more involved in what's going on because they have to be there just to make sure that they're getting the right tools and making sure that they're involved in getting their child to the next step of learning.
Yep, I agree with that portion.
Yeah, it's if I can comment, I did some substitute teaching, and I do agree that the kids do need to have their education, and it needs to be as good as we can give it to them. But there's a lot of dynamics to the whole teaching thing because I just think the government is failing us and not doing what they need to do for the teachers and getting them
exactly
and having that building ready for them to be there and not be fearful, for their lives. So, my thing is, okay, yeah, we need to do both. We need to make sure the teachers are safe and the children need a good education at the same time. Because actually I was one of the schools that I was substitute teaching in, it was a Christian school. And they called me back when they opened the school back. And to be honest with you, it was right in the middle of the pandemic. And I really didn't feel safe going back at that time because I didn't think they had a handle on it. So, yeah, I think some kind of way we need to work out where they can do both because the kids do have to be taught. And at the same time, we need to get these instructors where they feel comfortable going in there and where they're not feeling like, their life is put in danger because they don't have all the equipment that they need to keep themselves safe. Because, kids aren't going to stay apart, so you got to steady keep them apart and you got to talk to them all day. And I taught some young age children, and I just can't imagine like a kindergarten teacher trying to keep those children apart because that's going to be really, really difficult.
It's not happening. It's just no way. In Rochester Hills right now, come March 1st, they're going full-fledged. Elementary all the way up to high school, everybody's back in school 100% of the time. So, I mean, this is about to be an experiment to see how this is actually going to go.
Have they done anything to make the school more safe or anything, as far as you know?
Again, big thing is disinfecting.
Oh, okay.
Disinfecting, cleaning. The cleaning schedule is crazy, and that's the biggest thing I've seen. They do try to keep them separate. Desks are, pretty spaced out away from each other. I don't know how they're going to continue to do that going, 100% with all the kids in class, but we shall see.
Yeah, and I like where you brought up how the government needs to basically help out these teachers more to give them the tools to actually want to teach. I don't know, Jordan, you or Miss Anderson can actually comment. Do you think that right now it seems like there's more of an upscale of helping teachers now with this pandemic? Because before, it was still hard to give teachers certain things they need to actually teach their classes or to help the students perform. So has been a difference now since COVID has been a part of the society.
I don't know. I don't see much of a difference. I don't know what much more they could actually assist them with. And then personally, for me, again, looking at Rochester Hills, that's the #1 school system in Michigan, and it's the #8 school system in the U.S. So they do the utmost already to help their teachers out and take care of them. So I can't really knock anything right now.
I think that one of the major things that I don't want to get away from this is everyone is not doing bad with virtual. This is the constant that people can't forget. That it was people doing virtual before the pandemic forced people to do virtual. People were saying, I'm done with the public school, I'm done with private school, we just gonna do at-home school.
Mm-hmm.
And it's worked for them. So it's some factors I think that go into play with it a lot more. I think the pandemic is just one aspect of it, but the other aspect of it is I think a lot of people are finding out that more people were sending their kids to school for babysitting than for education.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That's the biggest problem. It takes, as much as people want to put on the teachers, hey, you got to teach our kids, you got to teach our kids, you got to teach our kids. Yeah, and that's absolutely. They're supposed to present the kids with the information and lay it out for them. Understand that, teachers got to have a different, almost like a different plan for every student because everybody don't learn the same way. So it's a difficult job that don't get paid enough. But the other aspect of that is that parents have got to get more involved and they got to stop using the excuse of work. You have to work. Teachers got to work. Teachers got kids that go to school. You got to do it. I work constantly, but it don't stop me from making sure that I'm working with my daughter and seeing any slip-ups and where she's going through. Right now, my daughter carried a 4.0 in school. She's carrying a 4.0 in virtual. It's about discipline. This is the biggest thing. It's about discipline. And what I noticed, because I see she might have other kids may not be doing it. You got kids, I don't understand where they're not letting, for some reason, they don't make kids show their face.
Yeah.
I'm like, why wouldn't you make them show their face? If I got a business meeting and it's over the Zoom, I got to show my face.
Mm-hmm.
This is something where we have to stop at this point, outside of all the pandemic talk. People, this is not going away. You're gonna have some place that's gonna say we're gonna keep doing half and half. I just see it coming. Or you're gonna have people that saying, I'm done with that type of schooling. My kid is gonna keep doing virtual, no matter if it's with the school they are or not. This is just about discipline and getting your children prepared and having them understand that they have to learn how to adapt to changes. Yep. And this is with everybody. This is the step that I think a lot of us are missing. We're not adapting to a lot of the changes. I think that personally, we should wait until the fall to bring all the kids back at least get everything worked out, actually have a plan for action, have a meeting with the parents and the teachers. Parents, you got to show up. I don't care if they have to do things saying, hey, we're going to have a meeting every day to accommodate the schedule of a parent that may have to work in the morning or work in the evening, you do things like that. But we need a plan of action. I just don't like guinea pig. I don't like, let's put the kids out there and be guinea pigs. Well, let's force the teachers to come back, even though they still feel unsafe and they ain't got everything to be safe. So I agree. Like you said with Jordan, I know that about Rochester because you got Rochester and Fraser, two best school districts in the state of Michigan.
Okay.
And they've been doing it half and half, like you said, for a minute now. Like half of the I don't know if it's alphabetical order, but it's like Tuesday this half go, switch up next go, and then they go like that. Then I believe on Friday in their district, Fraser, nobody go. They just do it online. Everybody do it online. And I was like, that's an outstanding idea. Why you can't keep doing it like that? And understand, parents, y'all gonna be pushed to the test, but guess what? Your parents. You ain't got no excuses. Your parents. I know some of y'all sleep schedule got interrupted. You might got out of wherever you work at, and now you gotta sit there. You gotta do it. I mean, I'm one I don't try to give out a lot of excuses. I look at both sides of it. I understand this and I understand that, but virtual schooling is not going away. It's not going to be like a wine, like, woo, it's gone. I guarantee you're going to see an uptick now, even more of people preferring virtual school. And it didn't have nothing to do with the pandemic at first. It had something to do with the schooling. So that's where, I'm going to go with that. I didn't want to spend too much time on that because I want to get to our guest and I want to pick her brain. And I want everybody out here to say, ask you any questions they may have too. So I'm going to start one with this. I'm going to start with the book. Like I said, I love this book. I'm a reader. I don't like a lot of ebooks. When people say, man, I'm going to get on there and do all that. I like the feel of feeling the pages flick through my hand. I guess that's just me. I'm going to tell you the chapter that I love in this book, and that's on forgiveness. And I believe that's chapter 6. And I'm a big component of forgiveness in terms of this. I could be somebody that you'd be like, you got your coming, you got your comeback coming. But what I noticed in this one that is really big and I like, and that you put in order for some people, and I don't want to give all the tidbits of your book away, but I'm telling you, if you get a chance, it's chapter 6. It's on forgiveness. And man, patronize. I'm telling you, you won't regret it. You won't regret it whatsoever.
I feel like you had this book on here before last season.
We had it on here before. I was talking about it before. Well, I was saying it. I'm telling people about it before. I said it's an outstanding book. This is something. This is. I don't mean this in the wrong way. This is not a Christian book, and what I mean by that is that it affects parts of life because people want to put. I don't like when people put things in categories. It's like this the box it works in. This is for everything outside of life, outstanding common principles that need to be put in play, and that can help everyone out, from believer to a non-believer. Okay? So it's one chapter. I just want to read this one right out of here. So, like I said, chapter 6. And you just tell me, and I want you to elaborate on it more for me, okay? Because forgiveness is a big thing that a lot of people struggle with out there.
Right.
People don't want to forgive people. They want to hold grudges and stay there forever. So it's one part in here where it says like, hold on, don't, trust and believe. They ain't getting away with it. Because that's the big thing. That's why people don't want to forgive. Because they're like, I'm supposed to forgive, and they out here doing everything they want to do, living life fancy-free. And I love it. And I quote, don't think for 1 minute the person who offended you will get away with it. God said in Romans 12:19, vengeance is mine, and I will repay, saith the Lord. God has your back. We should be afraid to mess with God's people. As a parent, how do you feel when someone offends your child? We get all protective, and depending on the level of offense, we are ready to fight physically for our children. Well, God is the same way. He that touches you touches the apple of his eye.
Mhm.
Zechariah 2:8. I just want to leave that right there. But explain why, because you put a whole chapter in this book about forgiveness.
Yeah.
Why
Forgiveness
is so important? Forgiveness. Why is it so important? Forgiveness.
Okay, for number one, and I'm glad you brought that chapter out because it is important. And it's something that I personally had to go through with. So it's not like just something I'm giving you out of a book. This is something that I had to deal with, because when somebody hurts you, when somebody offends you, that doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel good. And our natural response to people attacking us and hurting us or offending us is, I'm gonna shut down or I'm gonna get you back some kind of way. But when you don't forgive, it causes you to be put into a prison. It causes you to be locked up. And a lot of times the person that has offended you has gone on about their business and they're not even thinking about what they did. And you're still giving them power over you by letting that thing fester and bother you. So unforgiveness, it hurts you. And that's why it's so important to get rid of it. And I'm not saying that it's easy to forgive. Because when the Lord dealt with me about unforgiveness, he showed me that if I didn't forgive, it was going to keep me in that prison.
Yep.
And I had to forgive, and I did it through tears. You hear me? So I know it's going to be hard because that person had hurt me so bad that I didn't want to forgive them. Now, I'm just being real talk. I mean, sometimes people hurt you so bad, you don't want to forgive them. And
True.
you have to, I mean, God is there. God, I have to say, God, help me to forgive this person because I do not want to forgive them. They hurt me and I'm mad. That's okay. You can talk to God. I talk to God like that. Y'all got to know that he hears you. He already know what you're feeling. He hears you all the time. So be real with him. I'm mad at this person. They really hurt me and I don't want to forgive them, but I know you called me to forgive them. So Lord, help me to forgive this person and God will help you. God help me to forgive through tears. And don't make a mistake about it. It's not that you forget what they did to you because you will remember, but that thing loses its sting. It loses its pain. It loses that, that it had when they did that to you. That kind of goes away because you have let it go. And then, like Randy said, the part he brought out about vengeance, God showed me that too. It said, you don't have to worry about fighting your battles.
Yep.
Especially now if you're a child of the king, you don't have to worry about fighting your battles. God said, I will repay. He gonna take care of everybody that's doing you wrong because God don't like folks messing with his people. Okay. They gonna get it. I have seen people that have did me wrong and I didn't wish it on them. But I saw that they were about to get some bad stuff happening to them. Mm-hmm. And literally to the point where I said, God, have mercy on them. But it was coming. It was coming. So vengeance is mine, I will repay. That's what the scripture tells us. So we need to release some things and let it go for your own sake, for your own freedom, so that you can move on. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in a prison and a hell, and you don't want to be there. And the scripture says, if you don't forgive others their trespasses, God's not going to forgive you. And that scares me. That's now I have a healthy fear of God, and that scares me. Oh, God, you said forgive. If I don't forgive them, you're not going to forgive me. Well, I forgive them. I forgive them by faith. If you got to do it that way, even if you don't feel like you mean it. Lord, by faith, I'm saying that I forgive. Just put it out there. But you got to release it.
I definitely agree with that. Definitely agree. Personally, for me, I've had some stuff going on where, some issues that I know I have to forgive a certain person, and I've been carrying this thing for years, and it's affected relationships. Each relationship I've been in, they brought that same thing, like, hey, you need to go talk to so-and-so, and you need to get that up out of you because you think you're moving on in life and you're all good and it work, but no. I've been in 3 serious relationships, and each and every person said the same exact thing. So it's like, man, it's like, yo, you that forgiveness thing is no joke. Because like you said, it is a prison for you, whether you know it or not.
And the crazy thing about that too is, Jordan, is that you won't know until you actually like address it. Because like Ms. Linda said, like I'm still in that process right now, which I won't even keep it a secret, like of me forgiving my dad. And I spoke with Randy about it. And until I actually addressed it, acknowledged it, I thought everything was okay. But come to find out, it wasn't. And so just grasping that and actually just address and say, hey, I want to forgive you, but it's actually hard. And going to the Lord with it, and it actually helps. Even though, like Auntie said, like I didn't forget, but in order for me to be a better father and better husband, which that relationship has affected other relationships in my life, I gotta learn to put it down and actually forgive. And the big thing to me is that in my heart, I always wanted him to pay because I think it will make me feel better. And this whole time, I never actually seen him pay, like in my opinion. But I have felt better, and I have gotten a lot more acceptable of being forgiving to other people.
Yeah, and there's that tendency too, because I mean, it's just human nature. Somebody do something bad to you, you kind of want them to feel some pain. You want them to feel something. But what God brought back to me was the fact of what Jesus did on the cross. He's our biggest example. The very people that he loved killed him. The very people that he was dying for was doing, they were doing him wrong.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
Yet from the very cross, he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. So, and like Jordan was saying, sometimes that's going to come back to you. Just because you say, I forgive you, doesn't mean that's not going to come back. But every time it comes back, if you're a praying person, you just pray and ask God to, Lord, okay, that thing is rising up again. Because sometimes triggers make things rise up. And it's like, here it is again. I thought I got rid of that. I thought that was gone. But when it comes up again, Lord, cleanse me, heal me. Do that for me, Jesus, because we can't always do it on our own. Sometimes it's so hard. You definitely need help from Father God, because it's a hard thing.
Exactly. And that's one thing that I definitely learned. Like, I thought that you can get over it just, by letting things happen or by just letting time go by. And in my opinion, it actually makes it worse, because dealing with it as an adult, you kind of don't want to let it go.
And look at this. I just want to see this. Mackenzie, I love Mackenzie. Mackenzie's one of our most faithful fan base, man. And Mackenzie, I just want to read this for you. Mackenzie, I got a shirt for you, man. You are a top fan. I got a shirt for you. And she says right here, and I just want to put it on the screen. Sometimes reading it, letting people see it, could do it more justice than me reading it out. And she said, I never forgave my dad for leaving me, and I was angry about it until the day he died. And looking down in his casket, I realized I couldn't give that anger back, and it was a wasted time in being angry.
Mackenzie, that hit me because I was going through that exact same thing. I was like, and like I read it, I didn't want to react to it low key, but when I was going through that, it was times where I wanted him to die. Like, I would go hold you. Like, I wanted him to die because I didn't feel like, and just to be in plain words, I'm like, he deserved to live if he was this kind of person. But just after just trying not to be angry, it definitely helped. And it was way harder to forgive him than I thought it would be. But it has helped me become a better husband and father, because those relationships bring certain demons with you to other relationships, which I never experienced. Like me being the kind of person I am, kind of friend, father, husband, son, like that relationship itself affected me in both negative and positive ways. So yeah, I just want to reflect on that, Kenzie. That did touch me.
Yeah, and something.
It's crazy. I just, and I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I wanted to bring this up because you and Jordan brought this point up, And see, this is how you know when things are. See, I like when I know things are running on the same keel, because when things are running on the same keel, you know that things is right. For the most part, when things running on the same, like, okay, everything's on the same wavelength. Look at it. This is a quote by Lewis Smedes. It says, "To forgive is to set a prisoner free and discover that prisoner was you."
That's good.
And this one I like too. It says, "Forgive others, not because they deserve forgiveness." This I love this. Forgive others not because they deserve forgiveness, but you deserve peace. I love that.
Yes.
I love that. I love that.
That's awesome. But
that's
something
like Lockwood.
What's her name, Mackenzie
Yeah.
said, and she was saying about seeing him in his casket. Now this my belief is that even if the person that you had an issue with has gone on, has passed on, has died, you still can get that right in your heart with God. You still can get that right in your heart. Whether they offended you or you offended them, you still can go to the Lord. Okay, I can't go to that person, but God, I forgive them for what they did to me. You still can do that. And God can release you from that, even though that person is gone. Because some people, well, I can't, we can't resolve this now because they're dead. No, you can't. You can't. Because God is still alive. God is still there. He's still in your heart, and he'll be able to move it. But there's one scripture I wanted to read to you where it says in Colossians 3, verse 13, it says, "Make allowance for each other's faults and forgive anyone who offends you. Remember, the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others." And sometimes I think that'll keep us on the right track, knowing that, there's a scripture that says, how many times am I supposed to forgive? But they keep doing the same thing 77 times or 490 times. How many times? Well, the reason why those numbers are in there, because the Holy Spirit, God wants you to know that there's no set time to say, okay, I forgave him 3 times, that's enough. They do that one more time. No, they're going to do it one more time too, because sometimes God is working on you and you got to keep on forgiving. We're supposed to walk in an attitude of forgiveness, that's what we do all the time. It's not easy, but you're going to have to keep forgiving.
Auntie, just to even jump on the subject you're talking about, I think it's easier to forgive somebody that you can kind of move out your life, like a coworker. You can forgive them. A friend that's like, all right, or an acquaintance, you can forgive them. And like I said, I just read Mackenzie's other comment. It's really hard to forgive somebody that you love or genuinely have love for, especially if they did you wrong to a point where you feel like this person, something needs to happen. Something needs to happen. And just to read the first part that she said, because he left me, I had every right to be angry. But in all of my anger, I forgot to remind him how much I still loved him. And I think, like I said, just to even, because everything she's saying, like, I've been through and probably still going through, like, I wanted him to love me because I loved him. It's like, all right, I want a dad, because you're seeing, like, how, like, my friends are with their being fathers, and my uncles and everybody who I've been around that's been fathers. Like, I wanted that for myself. And it's that, yeah, I still love him. So it's like, why doesn't he love me? And that's where that tension actually comes in. But yeah, I think that's a real difficult part to even consider and forgive, Auntie. Yeah. So what I think you already said it, but what advice or how can you go about forgiving somebody that you truly love?
Yeah.
On that scale.
And you're making a good point, because if you think about it, people that you don't love like that, they don't really hurt you like that, because they're not in there like that. Mm-hmm. But when you really love somebody, you've let them in. They're a part of you. They're in your heart. So yeah, that's a lot harder. And like I said, the best advice I can give is to ask God. Almighty God has to help you with that, because forgiveness is never easy, because you've been hurt, and nobody likes getting hurt. That doesn't feel good. You want to retaliate, you want to get back, and like you said, you want them to pay. But that's when you take it to the Lord, because He's the only one that can help us, because we being real. When you hurt, you hurt. Mm-hmm. And that they did you wrong, you want to see them hurt. But that's the time when you're honest with God. Lord, I'm hurting. I don't like what they did to me. I poured out my all to them. Look what they did to me. But God, you said vengeance is yours. And I'm trusting you. I'm trusting my life in your hands. And I'm asking you to deal with that situation. And God will do it. He's Almighty God. He'll do it. It'll be hard. It won't be easy, but he will do it. And we have to just keep doing that.
It's crazy. I'm a very positive, very optimistic person. And I have a person that I need to forgive and I need to have the conversation with. And it's like, I'm not realizing it until, as I get older, as each year passes, that, man, I'm living my life without peace because I haven't had this conversation. And it's like little sprinkles of happiness and, whatever. But it's like, until I have this and get this thing out my head, out my heart, I'm never going to have that, that sense of peace. It's like a pressure that's, sitting on you. And man, this mess is nerve wracking, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like something you haven't dealt with that you need to deal with, and just go for it. And it's not going to be easy. Like you said, it's been there for a while, but God can give you the strength to even go to that person and talk to them. And even if you go to the person, I mean, sometimes you go to people and you say, "Hey, so you did so and so," and they'll look at you like, "What? I don't remember doing that." And that make you mad too because I've been hurting all this time. You don't even know you did that. But still, I know you still go to the person. And you have to still let them know you free yourself, and because sometimes they lying, they're in denial themselves, and don't want you to think that it fades. And I didn't know you got hurt like that. Okay, but you still go to them and you release yourself because it's all about releasing you and freeing yourself up.
So that's the hard one for me right there. It's a strong person that I gotta talk to. They strong, like I'm a strong-willed person. This person got me beat times 100. And it's like, if I like set my pride aside, set everything aside to have this conversation, and it's like, man, if I don't get that response of, something, I'm sorry, or, just a softer person, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, now I got to deal with that portion too.
And that's a deep, and what you just said right there, that's the deep part. That we've been saying so many times, and I've said this on the show, and a lot of times in conversations with people, and it's that we have to learn not to be mad at people for not being the friends or the fathers or the mothers or the brothers and the sisters we want them to be. Sometimes, we got expectations. I'm starting to more and more I start to get into expectations. I realize that we do a lot of damage to ourselves with expectations. Instead of saying, I trust it, and I don't want to say trust it, but if you see them do it, they've established that this is their type of behavior. It probably would do you good to believe this is what they do. Mm-hmm. If someone shows you that I am unreliable, you shouldn't give them anything to be responsible on. That might be a good idea. If someone shows you they are, you might want to be like, yeah, I probably shouldn't let you have access to codes and things of that nature. And when I see Mackenzie, when she just said that, and when Jordan just said that, and Mac was just saying that, all it brought back to me is the remembrance of it's like giving. I'm gonna tell you, when it comes to loved ones, what you do when you say I love you, you have an access to me, is giving them access to your heart and hoping that they don't break it. That's what you do when you got a loved one. You giving them full access, saying, "Look, man, I love you. I'm you. The vulnerable is down. Everything is down. I love you. I'm putting this out there to you. I'm gonna break my neck for you. Like no one else gonna get that love. No one else is gonna get that attention." I'm gonna say, I got this one story, and I got to bring this up because it happened, and I just shared this with my mother not too long ago. I remember my mother and father, they was going at it, and she had left out the house, and I remember saying, "I don't want to be here anymore. I'm gonna go over there with my dad." So I'm expected to go over there, my little suitcase and all, walk through the door, And he gonna be like, son, this was my expectation. Son, here, come on in. I love you, this and that. And it was everything just the opposite. My father was saying everything in the book, and I know that he was angry. And now that I'm older, I can understand it, but it don't mean that the sting of it was any less. My father told me, he said, I'm thinking he gonna embrace me with a hug. He did everything the opposite. He hit the suitcase out of my hand. He said, yeah, I know you're trying to come over here to check him. I'm like, but Dad, I'm coming over here because I love you. He's like, well, I don't love you. I don't have a son. Those words stung me for years. I ain't gonna even lie. It paralyzed my spirit and my growth with my father. From that point, when I heard that, I'm like, I don't have a father. I got so sad. I didn't want to give him the satisfaction of letting him see me cry, because I felt like I was already tough. I was like, man, now you ain't gonna get this satisfaction over here. You crushed my feelings. You destroyed me right here in this room. I'm coming over here for you. And I remember walking out, just walking aimlessly. I didn't even know where I was going. I had a suitcase in my hand, walking on the side of the freeway. On the side of the cemetery, just walking. Finally, my mother came and got me. I got in the car and I just broke down. It tore me apart. I'm like, how could you? I'm your son. You should be able to see me and say, man, this is my boy. This is my son right here. Why would you do this to me? I'm like, you're supposed to be the one person that I'm coming to you. I'm like, I shouldn't have to be chasing you. I should never have to chase you. And I realized from those point on, we had such a hard relationship until, God willing, all the way up to the end. And I'm gonna get into that conversation a little bit more as we talk, T, because it's a special conversation with that. But I remember that I ain't talked to my father for years. Throughout my whole high school, I didn't talk to him. We were in the same house, but walked past each other like we were strangers. I made sure that everything I did, I put my mannerisms was to the fact that no matter what I did, I was gonna do it 10 times better than him. When I saw that he did Taekwondo, I did Taekwondo, and I'm like, oh, you got, you second degree, I'm gonna get third degree. I'm like, and on top of that, I'm about to go over here. I'm about to go play football. I'm gonna get all city. I'm gonna do track. I'm gonna do everything to show that I'm 10 times better than you. Because not because I want to make you proud, but because you destroyed destroyed the boyhood dream that every man, every boy has. It's just to be loved by your father. That's it. Just to be loved by your father, for your father to say, I'm proud of you and everything else. Like, don't say it to everyone else, but say it to me. I'm the one that needs to hear it. Don't say it to 10 people here, 10 people there. Show me the proof. And it's just incredible. Now, the aspect of the story that I want to get across is that we let years go by, all the way until I got to college. And one person who was my Uncle Dave, who happens to be my Auntie Linda's husband, who I always, every time I see him, I tell him how much I love him and how much a special role that he played in my life. Not just for that, but because he didn't try to change me. I had different men come in, even other uncles that said, man, you gotta go apologize to your father. You gotta go do this. I'm like, I didn't apologize to him. I didn't do nothing wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. Y'all stupid. So of course I got hardened toward them. And I remember being around my uncle. I was around my Uncle Dave a lot. And then one day out the blue, he even said, he just taught, he said, nephew, I love you. You got to break that yoke to get, you got to break that yoke to get your peace. That's all he said. He didn't say you got to trust nothing like that. So I remember the day I was about to leave out the fair estate, and I was getting ready, I was packing, putting my bags in the car and everything else like that. My dad was downstairs, and before I knew it, I'm like, and my mom was like, did you say bye to your dad? And I was like, I need to say bye to him. But then it was the difference this day. Went to say bye to him. I'm like, hey, Dad, I'm about to get ready to get up out of here. He's like, you out of here, old man? And before I said that, before we said anything else, I just got into a deep embrace with him. Like, just everything in the years and all the things, like the time they just put up, was like, it was just gone. And he was just like, and he just, saying, just told me like, man, I'm sorry. Not knowing that all this time frame while I was trying to be better than him, he didn't miss one game, one meet, one match, not nothing. Standing in the background. No one, I didn't even know he was there. Being there the whole time. So he had to love from a distance because he knew he was wrong and everything else of that nature. So, and then after that, what is the good part about that is that a couple of years later, because I graduated from 2 months before I was graduating from college, my father was dead. So those are some things that got straight personal. I can feel every single one of what y'all saying. Mackenzie, I feel what you're saying because I remember that. Because my plan was to give my dad, because I always gave my mom my graduation tassels and everything. So I said this time around, because he's the one that kept believing in me to finish up, get my degree, I'm gonna give this to him. I give my mom everything. It'd be trophies, medals, and there. I get all the time. So I'm like, this time I'm gonna give it to him. I get across stage, I'm gonna run over there, I'm gonna give it to him. Happened, unfortunately, like I said, you know what I'm saying? He's dead. But I'm just saying that I feel everything they're saying about forgiveness. And if I can give anybody any hope out there to forgiveness, it's absolutely to set you free. Because the whole time where I'm thinking I'm hurting, because you do hurt. It do hurt when you think about it. It replay in your head like a rewind, like it's a DVD. It replay all the time. Everything you do, like, man, I can't believe it. You said this to me. It took for years to get the memory of him saying, "You are not my son," out of my head. I would take it into matches. And I had to realize this is why I was getting really violent. Because when I was fighting guys, I remember getting on the mat and fighting guys. And I would just remember him saying that. And I would just lose it. I'd be gone. I'm like, I'm tearing it up. I'm like, this is where I'm at. And it'd be like a whole different category. Even playing sports, it would be everything. Sports was the total opposite of me. So much that when I got to college, scholarships and everything didn't even matter to me no more because I had got some healing. I ain't had that same love for sports no more because it wasn't a love, it was an outlet. I'm like, well, I'm done. I don't care. I just have to pay for the school. And I was up there because it's like, well, if you stop running, stop playing, we got to take away that money. I'm like, do it. Because I got healing from it. And I'm just telling people from that aspect, man, that's some hurt. It's hurtful. And it hurts even worse, not taken away from women, but it hurts 10 times worse for men because the damage what we've done in the Black community, the men telling us we can't be vulnerable, we can't show our feelings, we ain't got no healthy outlet. They tell us everything else. Oh, buck up, stand up, don't do this. You can't be like that. You can't be like that. That did damage to me for years. So I was saying, I'm not trying to talk so much. Maybe that's something I had to get out.
Yeah, you need to say that.
Yeah. So it was I would just tell people, like Mackenzie, I know you said as you look down at the casket, I'm telling you, Mackenzie, I remember going in the hospital, seeing my father laid out in the gurney and looking down at him and thinking to myself, man, we wasted so many years. We wasted a lot of years. We could have been playing catch. You could have been doing this. We could have been doing every little thing that a lot of people think is, whoa, man, that's all hunky-dory. Man, I wanted hunky-dory. I wanted that. I wanted the father to be there by my bedside and everything else like that. I wanted that. And like I said, don't get me wrong. After that forgiveness, I was a full-grown man, but it felt like we had a start-over point. We had to start over. We was there. He was here. He was going to church, and he was doing all these other things. And it wasn't just so much. I just saw the change in his life. I saw the change in him, that he wanted to be different. He wanted to desire. Then as we got older, he was opening up. I got to find out how hurtful his stepfather was to him, which would explain so much stuff that gets passed along.
Yeah.
Not giving no one excuses, because even though my father did me like that, in that time frame, my daughter don't get none of that. I put it in my time frame that when I get it, my kids, I'm going to give you all the best of what my parents gave you, and then I'm going to give you everything else I wanted. I remember my daughter asked me that one day, what made me be such a good father? I said, I just gave you everything else I longed for.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's why I tell you 150, probably 1,000 times a day, I love you. For no reason, just out the blue. I could be in the bathroom, just I love you. Just out the blue, I love you. Because I want her to know that. I don't ever want her to forget it. So it's showing and it's loving and it's doing it all the time. Because that's something that I put in my head. I said that that's the kind of father I was going to be. And that's what I wanted to do with the forgiveness. Don't get me wrong. I had a lot of other great sources of great fathers. My Uncle Reuben, who was an outstanding father. I saw work hours and hours and would get off of work and still play with his kids. He worked at 4. He would still be around his kids. They loved him. They adored him. I'm like, man, that's the kind of father I want to be. Robert Tucker. Shout out to Robert Tucker. My Uncle Dave. I had some good examples of some men. Kevin Binion. So, I mean, I'm grateful for that. And I just, like I said, it's just everybody, forgiveness is so key. And it's not going to happen fast, man. Like it took years for me. Because with years, people, we got to understand that there's no such thing as a microwave healing when it comes to forgiveness.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna happen. It takes time. It's deep. If you dug deep to get yourself in the hole, man, you're gonna have to do some climbing out of it. And that's why I would just tell anybody with with forgiveness that, man, you just got to put the work in. And guess what? You may not get the answer or the response or the expectation you think you're gonna get out of that person.
I was just about to say that.
You may not get it.
Yeah, but with that, cuz it's like I was gonna tell Jordan, like with this situation you're gonna go through right now, bro, you gotta say your piece and just expect whatever's gonna happen with it is gonna happen. They may not say the things that you want them to say, and you gotta be all right with that. You gotta be all right with that. As long as you got it off your chest and you're doing the best that you can do in that situation, that's all you can do.
You know what it's called? It's called spiritual dialysis. When people have kidney problems, they got to go to dialysis because now their kidneys ain't function. So now they got to go to a dialysis machine and pump everything out of them, all the bad stuff out of them. When you get with spiritual dialysis, all you're doing now is you're saying, man, I'm just gonna get it out of me. It ain't gonna be the expectation, but I just know this is gonna be. Here we go. You may not get the hello. Hey, I'm sorry. Everybody don't feel that they wrong, but that don't mean they don't know that they wrong.
Facts.
It's a whole different thing, man. Woo! It wasn't supposed to be like this. It wasn't supposed to be like this.
Listen, I'm happy I ain't cried, man. I was like,
bro,
it wasn't supposed to be like this.
A couple tears on here, bro.
it was about to, man.
And the thing is, it's just like what McKenzie. I think me and McKenzie might be related. We might have the same daddy. Because everything that her dad did, my dad basically did. But also, like Randy, I know you have people in your life to help you. And Uncle Dave was somebody that actually helped me as well. But like you were somebody that was there for me. Like even like last year, I went through that with my father. Everything that you just said right now on this podcast, you told me in person. And the thing is, bro, like my father still hasn't done what I expected him to do. But I just learned to forgive him and attempt like, hey, this is what you're going to do. That's fine. But that door is always open. And that's another difficult part because I know he's going to hurt me again. But go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
No, finish up, man.
I have to leave that door open because I have to forgive him. I can't say, all right, well, listen, I never want to see you again, whatever, because that affects me.
Right.
Yep.
And I thought me being married and having my kids would fix it. And it didn't. Like it was at a point where it could have destroyed my marriage and it could have just, destroyed my relationship with my kids. But like even Randy alluded to earlier, like I wanted to be the best father I could because I didn't have one. And just after we had a conversation, say, hey, we're gonna try to be a father or son, and I forgive you, forgive me. And it didn't turn out the way I wanted to. It went back to to regular scheduled programming. But I just had to learn to accept that this is who he is. But that door is always open for him.
Yeah. I think God only expects us to be responsible for our actions.
Absolutely.
And how we deal with it.
Absolutely.
Because you can't change a person, you can't make a person love you, can't make a person do you right, but you can make sure that your heart is right. And that, like you're saying, Mac, that you got the door open whenever he want to come, and he might not ever come. I mean, that's out of your hands. You can't control that. And certain things you're just gonna have to leave in the hands of God. You know, for God to do the change and do the fixing, because you can't. But only God can heal hurts. You know,
Yep.
so. All the hurt, and Randy, you had to share that. So I know you keep saying that wasn't supposed to be like, no, somebody need to hear what your testimony.
Yeah.
You need to share that.
Hey, like he told me that same thing when I was going through this stuff with my father. And like, it's just amazing. He said the exact same thing on his podcast, and it still like got me like wound up and teared up, man. Like, I just
it's the burnt memories. It's burnt, just like. And I'm glad that you said that, Auntie, because people think I never like that phrase that says I'll forgive but I won't forget. That's a lie. That is a lie. That was made by somebody that ain't been hurt before. Because you go remember. You go remember. It just it's like I said, it's like an ease.
Yeah.
Telling the story, that's why I still get teary-eyed. My eyes get filled up. And just to remember, because man, it's easy to tell somebody to say you heard something from somebody, but when you have to walk it out, you were there, you experienced it. Nobody can tell you nothing different. Nobody can tell you the different of the hurts and the pains and things of that nature. Like, it's just like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like when people lose people in life, like people pass away. You can be like, man, I'm so sorry for your loss. But when you got experience,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's different. It's just different, man. It's way different.
I wanted to go off what you had said, Randy. A little piece you said, just realizing that the life your father had lived. You know what I'm saying? How he was treated, and that was something that has been like working in my head and in my heart and aiding in that whole forgiveness thing. It's when you talk to other people and you hear, yeah, they were raised like this, and this is why, you know, that hurt came right out on you. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, man, it's tough. You know what I'm saying?
It's tough.
It just makes it a little bit easier to consider. Like, man, they it's nothing but the same hurt being projected.
Hey, and it's like, when is it going to be the one that says, no more? I'm not doing that no more. I'm done with that.
Yeah.
And that's the problem that's happened so much. And you know, I first of all, I know our show is more than just black and white. I believe we reach everybody, and we know that it's evident by how our viewership is and everyone else. And I'm glad on that. But this is why it's so it's deep-seated within the black community. Sometimes when it comes to males trying to relate to other males, or even females relating to their fathers. It's a big, huge missing part with fathers, because it should be like, you would think someone would say, this is my seed, because if I don't love you, how in the world can I say I love myself? You were part of me. I created you. And I think about that every time when I look at my daughter. That's the first thing that came to mind. I look at my baby girl, I'm like, man, how can I not? Look, I think about that when I think about my goddaughter.
Right.
I think about that when I'm like, they say it's a party, ready to be out here. I'm dead tired. Anybody know me? I work constantly. But I'm like, no, it's my goddaughters. I'm going out there, even if it means I'm just dropping off the gift to see their face when they open it. Like, woo,
that's a fact.
Open it. God daddy out of here. I gotta go sleep.
Hey, he did that. I ain't gonna lie. He did that.
Well, and I'm saying it's just gotta be to that place where I'm just like, we've been repetitive in our family, because in our families where we've seen the good and the bad of father, you know what I'm saying, even in society. So when you get a chance, and like I said, my goodness, man. And but it's just like, I just saw people gotta have these conversations. That's absolutely, we gotta have these conversations. That's why we gotta have, that's why we got you on the show. In regards to it, and just with this question, because I know, like I said, this book was, the whole book is excellent, And I'm telling people, Amazon, go get it.
And just think about it. We spent the hour just on forgiveness.
Yeah. The forgiveness chapter alone,
just an hour. And we're not even finished.
Yep, it's gonna do some gut mode. Let me ask you this, because we'll stay on this all the time, and however the road is supposed to roll. What gave you what was your inspiration behind the book? Well,
I wrote the book for new Christians because sometimes I think, people go to church and we talk all this religious talk and use all these words that we think everybody know what we're talking about, and they don't. And so my way the Lord gave it to me to do this book was that to do a book where people can digest about the Christian walk, where you could make it really simple. That's why the book is small. It's not for Bible scholars. It's for those people that, maybe haven't got it all, maybe got questions, and I don't really understand this God thing. I don't understand this Christian walk. And this makes it so simple that even a child can understand. So you really want to get this book because it will let you know. It starts with Adam, going from Adam in the fall, and then telling you about not just Adam, but then why Jesus had to come because of the fall. Then after Jesus came, how he sent his Holy Spirit to live inside of us, to help us to make it through each day and to lead us and guide us. And how we're in a process of right now of going through tests and trials. And then eventually Jesus is going to return. And then it's going to be a judgment day. And it's funny because when I did this book, actually, somebody said something to me. I don't know if you saw the last chapter is about Revelations.
Yeah.
And somebody told me after I did the book, said, wow, you sure you should have put that in there? That's a little heavy for new Christians. And yeah, because the purpose of the book was to get a complete picture from beginning to end of this is what's going on and this is what's going to happen in the end. So people will know what to expect. And so they'll know what God has in store for them without, being lost and wondering what's going on. So if you get the book, I'm going to tell you, you're going to have a clear understanding of God. This book's going to point you in that direction. And that was the purpose of this book for new Christians. And even for people that's been saved for a while, if you want to read the book, because you can kind of strengthen your foundation and remember, why did you get saved in the first place? It's going to answer a lot of questions. So you really want to get it.
And also, I want to point this out too. This for people who really got that God type mentality, like God, because it's so simple. This is the best way, and it's not simple in the way of saying, like you simple minded, blah blah blah. No, we're saying that it can be explained. I've always been taught, and I remember being in class and having to do reports. Shout out Miss Hooper, Fair State. When we had to get up there, we had to get in front of our class. We had a lecture hall. Anybody that been in a huge English lecture hall know what I'm talking about. 300-something people. And he had to get in front, and he was talking to them. And one of the biggest things that she would tell me all the time in regards to when you're talking with people is that you got to know your audience. It's like you got to know your audience. And if you got all these different groups in the audience, young and old, who do you think you should speak to? And at first I was like, and I said it like to the dumbest. And she started laughing. She's like, no, you speak to the children. Because if a child can understand it, everybody can understand it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that's so, it's just clear cut, even for someone that like, man, I don't know about what this. I'm telling you, that's why I say I think this is bigger than just, I know you said that it was a beginning Christian, but I think it's bigger than that. I think it's much bigger than that. I believe it's for individuals who still looking and trying to figure out some things, because it's got plenty of life lessons in regards to it. If you read most millionaire books, self-help books, they are riddled with biblical principles. It's just riddled with it. They know the biggest one that they got, giving, because they understand the power of giving. So, but in regards to, I know you were saying that you had when doing this book, your inspiration was for people that was just starting off their faith walk and things of that nature. Have you had people that may quote unquote not have, talking about they live in, they believers and things like that, get this book and give you any comments about it? Like, I ain't a believer. I can obviously understand this and
oh yeah,
I agree with it.
Oh yeah, there's been a lot of testimonies and in fact just today somebody had gotten the book and read it and was about to give it to her son and daughter because her daughter-in-law rather, because the daughter-in-law had just been to church and she had been burnt because the pastor that was at the church ended up falling into some stuff and it really discouraged her and she didn't want anything else to do with church. So, there's a lot of that goes on out there. And people, once you read this points you to God. It doesn't point you to a person, don't point you to me, it points you to God. So you can have that relationship because you shouldn't have your eyes on a man. You shouldn't have your eyes on a woman. I mean, you respect them, you listen to them, you learn from them, but if you fall because they fall, then you weren't in the right place. Okay, your eyes should be on the Lord God. Your eyes should be on what God can do for you. Your eyes be on your relationship with Him. You respect them, but your eyes should be on Him. And this will make sure your foundation is sure, so that I don't care who falls around you. You got it going on like this, and you're not gonna fall. Once you get this in your heart and in your spirit, so you do definitely need to get it, and it'll be something that you'll be able to go back to and remind yourself and do a refresher course because God wants you to get a hold of Him. And that's what this book does. It points you to God.
Well, Auntie, I think you answer the question I was going to ask you, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What are important elements of good writing as far as making this book?
Let me see how I can answer that, because I just have to be honest with how the Lord did me. When I retired 5 years ago, I had no idea I was going to write a book. Hadn't been thinking about writing a book. That wasn't even on the radar. In fact, I was going to do some other things, and the Lord put it on my heart to start writing the book. And so He kind of just gave it to me, and I literally would go and sit down at the computer at the typewriter and just type. I couldn't do that right now because it's not on me, but He kind of gave it to me that way. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a lot of proofreading. I'll tell you that. Some of the more technical things, you're going to have to proofread. Be a good proofreader. Read stuff over again. Make sure you look up all your scriptures. Get somebody else put a pair of eyes on it other than yours, because a lot of times you know what you're saying and you didn't say it that way. And somebody else reading it, but you left out those words. So, there's a lot of that. And even when you go to the publishers, I've been encouraging people, you still got to proofread your own stuff. Because even when you go to the publisher, something that you might have meant to say and they kept it in there, but you didn't want to say it that way, you need to keep, proofread as well as them. But anybody that has a book in your spirit, I'm going to tell you, you need to get it out there. Because just like this one is out there, people need to hear your story. And there's a lot of people that might be listening to this, and then God's giving you some things that you need to share with people. We need what you have to offer. Each one of us have something to offer, something special to offer. Okay, so don't belittle what you have. And so if God's putting it on your heart to write a book, get out there and write it. You don't want to get to the judgment seat and God say, how come you didn't write that book?
We got a quote, fellas. Thank you, Auntie. Don't belittle what you have. We got to use that. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
I like it.
Now I want to go over a couple of chapters right quick. Just in particular, and then I want to get to some Q&A. We making really good time. Let's go right here. I noticed you got with this particular book. It's not, and the other thing too, and I don't mean this to I know sometimes we got a bad, sometimes on the show we are very sharp-tongued. If that's the best word I can say. We straight to the point tongue. So sometimes it might come across like, ooh, man, they said that like that. No, what we're trying to say is that this book is not a very long read. It's straight to the point. I mean,
easy read.
Easy read. I mean, it's just cut straight to the story. I mean, we got 11 chapters in this book. We got chapter 1, the greatest love story ever told. 2, we need the blood. 3, how to lead ascended to Christ. 4, intimacy with God. I like that. Forgive, and then of course, waiting on God, forgiveness, sin in the gray areas, your gifts and talents are needed. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Spiritual warfare, and of course, judgment day is coming. If I know a lot of questions that we have on here sometimes, especially from our women. Sometimes all the time, we can only answer from a male point of view.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to give you some of the questions that we've had on here from women that we really, it's always good to have representation everywhere that you go. You know what I'm saying? So for women, one of the questions we had, and I don't know how much you're aware of this, but it's been a constant debate back and forth for a little bit. And it's got heated sometimes, where it's an individual. His name is Russell Wilson, and he's a quarterback in the NFL. And he happens to be married to a young lady named Sierra, who is an R&B star, and she was once in a relationship with another guy named Future. For the sake of everything, just to put it on what's going on with that, Russell Wilson made a comment saying that what he's afraid of most in the world is losing his wife. Talk about Sierra. Now, a lot of men, and I think a couple of us, I wasn't faulting him for what he said, because I understand the general approach of what he was trying to say. I guess because we're literal on this show, so we kind of don't like tiptoeing through the tulips. When I heard him say that, my only issue was, you want to probably be careful putting all of your eggs in love with this one person. But I understand where he was coming from. But the issue was that a lot of women were saying, "Oh, I want Russell Wilson. I want Russell Wilson." And to be honest, Auntie, no, they don't. They want Future to act like Russell Wilson, and that's the other guy who will be the quote unquote kind of the thug, the bad guy. And it's a stigma throughout life that women are more attracted to the bad guys. Like, they like the bad guy because they like, the appearance of whatever, how they think it'll be. But I said, if you put these two guys, let's take money out the equation, and you put these two guys in the same place, about 80%, and I'm giving women a lot of credit on this, 80% of them would choose Future.
Mm-hmm.
80% of them would choose Future.
Agreed.
So, Auntie, what do you feel about this dilemma where women say they want a guy to be like this, but they're attracted to another guy that do just the dead opposite?
Wow. Well, y'all are out there. There is some truth to that. I don't know why it is. I'm just gonna be honest. Sometimes the bad guy gets your attention. But I think that for me personally, it's who you fall in love with and who steals your heart. Because if you have a woman's heart, I mean, you got it. I mean, until she get tired of you, or until you do something that makes her want to run, she's gonna be there for you through thick and thin. So I don't know. I don't know how to say that it's just that I guess they're attracted because they're the bad guy, but I don't think you really want to be with that bad guy. You want somebody that's gonna give you some security, somebody that's gonna be there for you. And a lot of times you got them bad guys and they're gonna be with you for a minute and then they're gonna go to the next person. So a bird in the hand's better than two in the bush. Okay, that's who you have. That's who you have. You know who's in your corner. You just stick with who loves you and who you love. I mean, that's just my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because you go out there running after all kind of things, and he's going to put you down just as quick as when he get tired of you. So yeah, you stick with who loves you and who you love.
And Mackenzie said something. She said the bad guy gets attention, the good guy holds attention.
Oh, I like that.
All right, yo.
I don't know if I believe that. But
Yeah, I say the same thing because I see a lot of the guys that get cheated on are the good guys. It's not the bad guys. The guys hold your heart, and them women want to stay for 15 years and then finally say, "I'm done." Like, okay, all right, but you got the good guys out here who, they're. I was about to say softer, but no, they're more okay with their emotions because they're actual real, men. They're not trying to live a facade and whatnot. But no, I don't agree with that one, Mackenzie. You've been good all night. I haven't come for you, but I don't like that one.
and Fifi, let's see here. Please say, I think they are attracted to Future because they believe they are fearless and seem to be confident in themselves because they act hard. I agree with that. I agree with that. I do. I agree with that. Kathy said, not every woman.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So not every woman. I have always loved nice guys. My somewhat judgmental spirit would turn my nose up to bad guys. John says the bad guys are unfortunately desired. The good guys are deleted until the bad guys run their course. Mackenzie said, I like bad guys because I'm a young idiot. But I also understand that comes with bad guys. Oh, yeah, I also understand what comes with bad guys. And you know what? I think that now, you know what, Mackenzie? Mackenzie, you on a roll tonight. You redeem. That's a quick redeem, Mackenzie. Woo!
She had to sacrifice herself.
That
I'm
one,
just stupid.
She put herself on that sword. She like, forget it. Oh. But I agree with that. I would say, I remember a lot of women when they say, and when I tell them, I'm like, look, let's be honest with yourself, because we ain't saying like men are perfect. Because I'm gonna be honest, in my really stupid days, not too far long ago, I wasn't attracted to no good woman. I was attracted to a good looking woman.
mm-hmm.
Or you know what I'm saying, or a woman who kind of aroused you in other ways that ain't got nothing to do with if I want, wife or nothing like that. So it just ain't women. We ain't saying that, ladies. We never say that. On here we never say that. We call it like it is.
For sure.
And also to even add to that, a lot of women want to date somebody that they friends want to approve of, or like, oh, this guy look cool, or it's who I want to be with. Versus actually be with like the nice guy or the good guy. That plays a big element of it too.
I think it depends on where you are in your life too, because if you're settled, you want somebody settled. You don't want no wild person that you don't know what he's gonna do. So it just depends on where you are in your life journey.
Yep, I definitely agree with that.
Yep.
Because when you're young, well, like I said, it really depends on the person, and like you just said, where you at. Because you got some people. They don't want no bad guy. They don't want no bad woman. They're like, they don't have no piece of it. When they see it, they're like, oh, I'm straight on that. No, I don't want that. But it's crazy how it just seems that sometimes we want everything that's the worst for us.
Yep.
Because somebody told me like, why would you go? Like, I remember this one girl. I ain't gonna say nothing about it. I remember her, and she was just bad. That's all I remember. Bad, like the brick house. Everything. And I remember just. Being with her, didn't have nothing in common. All I knew is I wanted her. I wanted her physically. That's all I want. I wanted. This is who I want. Look at her. I'm around this bad boy. Look at this. I got to do this. And then somebody told me, man, why are you with her? And I said it jokingly. I like it ain't her personality. And because it was just being real. I'm like, I like getting up there because now you like seeing, she was fun. She was a quick fun. It was entertaining. It was a spontaneity about her. She was doing all these type of things. Now, a lot of things I was like, man, I'm straight on her. Oh, man, you going a little crazy.
You're so fake, bro. Auntie, you.
And as much crazy as it is, you get a weird attraction to this crazy. You're like, man, you crazy, man. You think I'm about to leave. And she whispered the right words and you get back right with her. But as you like you was just saying, you get older and you have to go. It's only so many times you can keep dealing with that. And once you get like, oh my goodness, I can't keep going right there. So I'm doing the same thing, expecting something to be different.
Right.
So I agree with that. I know Jordan, I know you want to say something, man.
No, I got a question, Miss Linda. In the comments, Nicole, she said, I don't want a man to need me. I want him to want me.
I like that.
What do you think about that?
I don't want a man to need me. I want him to want me. Well, personally, I would want both. I want you to need me and I want you to want me. You know, but I understand what she's saying. You don't want somebody that's dependent upon you. They can stand up on their own 2 feet. I think that's what she means by that.
Is that what you mean, Cola? You can go ahead and keep talking until we good. We just
yeah, you know, I think when you come into a relationship, you both should be able to stand on your own 2 feet, but you do need each other. You should want each other. There should be an attraction. So yeah, I think all that is needed in a good relationship.
Okay, I agree.
Now, another thing, and ladies, you out there, ask questions. That's why we got this wonderful woman on here, because we got the woman point of view. We want to get in here. Please ask questions.
All right. Hey, Auntie, I got a question for you.
Right there. Oh, what John said before you get to your question, can you read that one?
One second. All right. So John said, some bad guys became that way after being treated poorly. This culture these days is wild. Good men are thirsty, being considerate, and what's the C word he got?
Chivalrous.
Chivalrous is for upon happened to me when I was young and I went on the street. I calmed down in my 3rd year of college.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that one, John. When I first started, dating and talking to women, I was like alfalfa. Hi, darling, with the flower. You know what I'm saying? real
you
like
look like that guy.
I was like literally. I've gotten better. I'm trying to get back to being a really, really good guy. But I was just, I was that, and I got smacked in the head. Detroit showed me some things. The East Side girls, I gotta leave them alone because, man, they put the boy through it. Okay, and I had to learn. And again, it made me switch up who I was, my characteristics. I got tougher, and like John did, I went on a streak, and that streak was a long road. And
and that streak hurt a lot of people, didn't it?
Probably, most likely.
I think every guy goes through that as well. So it's like, shoot, hey, once you hurt me, I gotta hurt somebody else. And you hurt a lot of people.
Yep, most definitely. All
right, Auntie, the question I did have for you,
she must be from the East.
So the question I have for you, Auntie, I remember we had a conference with people who are together, married people. And this was me and Crystal were first dating. And I was in a room with everybody who's married, but everybody that I knew was either divorced before, had a previous relationship like a baby father or whoever, but everybody in that room been married for 20 years plus. And the question I asked, I want you to basically give everybody the answer that you pretty much gave me or reflect on what you told me, was that how do I know if I have the right person? Because I don't want to be with this person knowing that's going to end me being with somebody else.
Was that the seminar we had?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
yep.
That was a while ago. Yeah. Now, and this is just me, my opinion. I think you should pray about whoever you're with. And I just believe that the Spirit will lead you and guide you to the right person. As a male, because he that finds a wife finds a good thing. So for the men, it's for you to go out and seek, who you think would be best for you. And I think you just kind of get a witness in your heart and your spirit, and you go with what you feel. Now, we not beyond making mistakes. I'm not saying we perfect and we always make the right choice. I have been divorced. I was married for about a year, and it was the wrong decision, and it didn't last long. But I said, I got myself in this hell. I'm gonna get myself out of this hell, and so I did. So, we're not perfect human beings. We don't always make the right choices, but I just think you just have to go for it. And if you put your heart in it, if this is what you feel God's telling you to do, and you have to work at it. Marriage is something you have to work at. And you can't go into marriage thinking that if this don't work, hey, I'm out. No, both of you have to sit down and decide. And that, which brings me to the book I wrote about, A Letter and Prayer to married couples. Because both of you have to make a decision before you even get married. That are we going to be committed to this? Are we going to try and make this work? Because if both of you go in there with that same mindset, guess what? You're going to have a pretty good marriage. And putting God in the middle of your marriage as well. Because for me, that's what makes it work. Because when he's in the middle of your relationship, well, guess what? What would have been blown out of proportion otherwise, if you actually have a relationship with him and you're listening to him and you're sensitive to him, he's going to let you know that you're talking too much. Okay, you're wrong. You shouldn't have said that. Or you need to do this better for her. Or you need to do that. He'll check you. And so if each one of you have that relationship and allowing God to check you, your marriage will work. So my thing about whether or not you got the right person, if you put God in the middle of your relationship and you're not just having him in the middle of your relationship, but you're listening to him and doing what he tells you to do, he's not going to lead you astray. And you'll have a good marriage. You won't be perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect marriage. You both got flesh. You both bring stuff into the marriage. But when you're committed to making it work, okay, them little arguments, okay, that ain't nothing. You'll get over that. You'll apologize and go on. You'll kiss and make up, But you have to be committed to the relationship. And to me, that's key to having a successful marriage.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that.
So, I'm going to get personal with this one. A little bit for me, I found out in relationships, I haven't spoken to my mother in 3 years plus now. So again, I got an issue there, and that's the issue I got to take care of. And even before that, that relationship was just rocky for so many years. Mm-hmm. I'm finding in relationships, I've always been, I was easy to leave. Like, you want to go? You know what I'm saying? I'm out. Because it's like in my head, I'm like, if the woman that birthed me, loved me, is not here and she can be gone and not speak to me, what other woman do I really need? You know what I'm saying? Like I can, if I can live without her, I can live without any woman. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that I've had to really go in my head about and really like, man, you've messed some women's lives up. You know what I'm saying? With that mentality. And until I heal, I just gotta heal, man. Gotta heal. I don't know. I just wanted to bring that out for anybody watching, man.
That's deep, yo.
The healing
process. Thanks for sharing that, bro. Thanks for sharing that, man.
Yeah. And I've been guilty of holding things in the past where I held onto stuff and didn't let it go. God dealt with me about that. Like we were talking about unforgiveness, how you can't hold on to stuff. So what I had to learn to do, and what maybe some people out there need to learn to do, is learn to say what you need to say. If somebody offended you, say it, get it out there, deal with it, and then move on. Say what you need to say, because you can't keep hovering that stuff. Okay, you know what? I didn't like what you said. I didn't like what you did. Instead of, I was the kind of person that if you offended me, I'm going to make it inward, and I'm not necessarily going to talk about it, but I'm just going to hurt and I'm affecting. I'm not going to let you know what you did, but I'm handling you with a long handled spoon from now on, and I ain't got nothing else to do with you. But see, God had to deal with me that no, that's not how you deal with it. You get over it. Learn how to say what you need to say. If somebody offends you, it's nothing wrong with you saying, you offended me. I don't like what you said. I didn't appreciate that. And you say what you need to say. God help me forgive them, and you move on. Other than that, stuff is gonna forever fester. You gotta let that stuff go. Because some of us got so many file cabinets because we be keeping track of what everybody's done wrong to us. We need to get rid of them file cabinets and just get that stuff out of there. Might easier said than done, but I'm telling you, it's gonna make you such a happier person. When God started showing me how to do that, oh my God, I got set so free because it's like, okay, I don't have to let people walk all over me. If I don't like what you're saying, I'm gonna let you know I didn't like that. I didn't appreciate that. Or if you offended me, say it. God help me to move on with it, and then you move on.
Yep. I agree.
Absolutely. It's scripture, and I love this. I love this because it says bitterness rots the bones. And this is why it's so deep to where, and John just said this too, forgiveness and healing is individual. It's a cure. It's a cure and a treatment for the patient. You know what I'm saying? That's what's supposed to happen for you. And the biggest trick that anybody can play on someone is to say that forgiveness is for the other person. It's not for the other person.
No.
It's for you. That's why we use that example saying that spiritual dialysis. You getting all them bad toxins out of you that you can't do on your own.
Right.
That's why you're doing you, because if you could, you would have done it a long time ago. If you could have been happier, if you could have been more forgiving, you would have did it a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we just get to that point where it's like, look, we got to understand that, man, I am tired of drinking poison, hoping for somebody else to die.
Yeah.
And that's, and it has a different effect because unknowingly, like I said, with my father, and I'm hearing this, like I said, I think this has been outstanding tonight. And if you're still there, everybody, please continue to share and get this out of there and continue to comment. Like I said, unknowingly, for myself, like I said, with my father's situation, with my sister, she was a product, she was a product of an affair, so that kind of played a part for me, initially not talking to her at first. Like the first time I'd even seen my sister was at my father's funeral, which was in 2004. And from that point on, and I don't want to say it like this, but you say things at funerals and you kind of just go with the flow. You in the emotion, like, hey, here's my number, keep in touch with me, you'll be all right, and all this other good stuff. And I didn't know keeping in touch. I really didn't have the plans on to. I'm like, look, this is from a different situation and all this other stuff, and I'm just gonna keep it like that. And like I said, when she found me out, found me again, and y'all gotta bear with me for a minute.
Go ahead.
But when she found me again in 2009, it didn't make it no better because I had just filed for divorce. I just filed for divorce from my wife. And I was totally a wreck. I was done. Only the closest people to me would know how bad I was. I was just moving and keeping a straight face because I'm like, look, I'm getting this done and everything else because I was a wreck. Divorce is not good. Divorce is not good. I don't care what nobody say out there. Divorce is a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing to go through. It's a tough thing to go through. And I'm telling you, it ain't nice. It ain't simple. And it was a lot of stuff going on. I got very, God forgive me, I got very backstabby in my divorce. I was looking out for my best being. I'm like, I'm tired, I'm done. I'm making sure every account, every property, my 401k, my stocks, my options, none of that. I had things I never told my wife about. But when my lawyer knew about it and I had to put stuff away, so I was cold. And she contacted me at that time frame and I looked at it. And I said nothing. I didn't even give a response to her. She went through Facebook trying to find me. And I didn't say nothing. After I got down.
Take your time.
I looked at that message for over a year and a half, thinking to myself, like, man, she ain't got nothing to do with any of this. This is all just some harness stuff I had up in me. And I'm like, thanks, baby. I got a secretary in the background, y'all. I started going, I started going to therapy because I just realized how messed up I was. Not just from it wasn't a marriage, it was years and years of things that I had to deal with that I had swallowed up, and I thought because I was doing good financially, I was doing good educationally, that I was a mentor, that I was a minister. I thought everything was fine, and it wasn't fine. I was walking broken. And I remember going to my psychiatrist, and I just remember telling her about it. And she said that, you need to make a way to get back to her. And I started searching for her because her Facebook page, it went down. And man. And I finally got another opportunity. It took 2 years. Took 2 years. But she ended up touching base with me again. I don't know what happened. I ain't asked all of that, but as soon as I got that chance, it was like boom, bam. I got in touch with her. I didn't stop talking to her. We were talking every day. We were texting every day. Most of the time, she was in the hospital because she had a debilitating muscle disease. But from that 2011 all the way up to now, we continued to touch base, and we stayed with each other. We kept talking with one another, and then finally we got to seeing each other. And because, like I said, she was always in the hospital. And I remember first time that we saw each other, I was walking around outside. I'm great with words, and I didn't know what to say. I was thinking to myself, like, man, what I'm gonna say? She almost, that time frame was 27, and I'm 36. I'm like, I don't even know what to say. So when I finally got up there and got to see her for the first time, I just ran over there and I just hugged her. I just hugged her. Then I would just see her all the time. And the very last time we saw each other, just about a couple of weeks ago, before she got in the hospital and they put her in an induced coma. I went over to her house and I'm about to come over there. I'm about to come over there to your house. And I don't care about your mama being there. We was laughing and cracking jokes because, she was a straight shooter. And I remember telling my girlfriend that I was going to see her. And I was like, yeah, I got a clothing line. She like, bring me one of them hoodies too. And I ain't paying for it. And got over there. We was over there for a long time. And I remember catching myself just looking at her. And she said, what you looking at? You getting all stormy, whatever. And I said that I'm mad at myself that I allowed so many years to go by without establishing a relationship with you. But now that I'm here with you, ain't no way in the world that you're gonna get me to let you go. I'm here. We hugged for about 10 minutes. Took a couple of pictures. And now she gone. But what I could tell for most people, there's no regret that I'm living with. There ain't no regret that I'm living with. Because I'm glad that I didn't answer that message the first time because I wasn't mature enough for the conversation me and her would have to have. It would have been hurtful. I've been speaking out of pain because of the things I had going on in my life, and everything else would have been registering. And if, like she was, where we were somewhat alike in terms of our temperament, I would have said something to her. She'd have said it back to me, and we had never said nothing to each other again. So it happened at the time it was supposed to happen. You know, it just sucked because even though you know things is going to happen, I don't care what nobody says. I don't care if somebody's on hospice. I don't care if somebody is dealing with 6, stage 4, no matter what it is. You can know that it's going to happen, but you really don't know when it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
you don't predict it, and, you know, you never know. All I know, and I'll share this experience. I won't share what I said because I want that to be something that's between me and her. But I got up there to the hospital. I'm not a hospital fan at all, y'all. So got up there and like, I'm like, you know, it's basically a machine just keeping her alive. Man, I hate hospitals. And doctor kept telling me, and her mother kept telling me that, you know, she could hear it, and I was looking at the vitals and things, and it just looked bad. And when I asked the nurse and the doctor outside the room, they said she's not gonna make it to the night. She's not gonna make it. That's why we calling y'all up here. And kind of trying to really tune everybody out in the room because they allowed the opportunity, even with COVID, for, you know, a lot of family to get up there and say things to her. You know, a couple of people were singing to her and things of that nature. I was letting people do their piece, and then I was like, I just wanted to say something. And as I started talking to her, tears started flowing. I didn't notice, you know, that her mother had left out the room. And then the nurse came in the room, the doctor came in the room. They was looking. And her vitals had shot all the way up. And my prayer was you know, as I was sitting there, I was praying, I was like, you know, God, you know, I know we talked and we was on good terms, but if you can just let her hear what I'm gonna say. Then I just want her to hear. You know, it ain't gotta be nobody else's business, it's me and her, because that's what I want to hear. So nurses, you know, like the nurse and the doctor was explaining it to me, like, let me tell you something. When somebody vitals shoot up that far, that quickly, it's like, I'm telling you, she heard you.
Amen. So
I guess what I would tell everybody in terms of forgiveness is that it's the cliche of saying time is not promised to you. Let's go even farther than that. That time is that one commodity you can't go and get more of.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
You can't get more of it. You can't go to Walmart and say, I need another 24 hours, another 15 minutes, another 30 seconds. When it's gone, it's gone. I don't know what I'm going to do when I see my baby sister in the casket. I don't know. I've spoken at funerals. I've performed funerals, being a man of God, and this is going to be different when you got to be there for someone that is this close to. And I would just tell people that don't speak to grass, don't speak to urns. Don't speak to walls. Speak to people. If there's something that's there and you got the opportunity, do it. If you got the opportunity, do it. Good or bad, get it off of you. Because in doing funerals, the one thing I always see is that one grieving person that left things undone, that said some of the worst words in the world, whatever, the bad, last communication was horrible, and now they just totally done because they can't make it right. I would tell people, it's not so much about making it right. It's about getting yourself right, getting yourself to peace. Almost like you just saying, look, I'm going to say this. You ain't got to agree. You don't have to disagree.
Right.
I'm saying it because I got to get it off of me. And you can let them know the reason why I get it off of me is because I love you. And you hurt me. And the biggest thing, like I said, I would tell that to people. And the most wonderful thing I could say about my sister is that Sierra spent all that time trying to find me. Not because she needed money, not because she needed this, not because she needed that. It's because she just wanted to know her brother. That's it. She wanted a relationship. And I think that's what a lot of people will miss out on life, is because in life you want relationships. Everybody want to be loved. And if anybody say different, it's a lie. Everybody want to be loved. That's why guys join gangs. This is why people stay in relationships that's horrible, because they looking for love, whether it's in the wrong or the right places. People looking for them. So I would just say, in this terms, because I'm done on that. I probably just needed to do that. Thank you, baby, for being here. But I would just tell people, man, forgive people and forgive yourself.
Amen. That's good. Yeah.
Just forgive yourself. Because I was beating myself up for a long time about that with my sister. And let me tell you something. Not one time did she ever bring it up. Not one time did she ever bring it up. So that's why I would say to people, man, just get it right. Get it right for yourself. Forgive people and forgive yourself.
Well, I wasn't ready for this today.
Amen.
Yeah.
Wow. It was needed though.
Yeah, this is very heartfelt. This is all very important for all of us to get. I think everybody on this podcast has let out something that they've been dealing with, and how they're being affected by it. But most importantly is how you want to get better and how you want to help other people. So I really appreciate all of you, and definitely, Linda, thank you for the scripture, the information that you provided to even let us get to this point, because that was the seed to get all of this stuff out. Now that this hasn't just affected us, also our viewers. So like, really appreciate you getting the ball rolling on this, because like I said, if you didn't make this book to touch on these things, this one that came out, like I said, I had no clue that Jordan was dealing with that. And just to see him say, well, hey, I have this issue, and to share it with people that he may not never even meet, and to say, I want to deal with it and I want to get better, encourages like anybody to deal with any relationship. Like I said, his own mother. And if that's not deep, then I don't know what is. And cuz for you just sharing, like I said, I know we share, you shared it with me personally, but for you to let that out and actually give people a testimony to say, hey, like time is valuable. You can never get that back. So if it's a conversation you got to have, or if it's something you got to get off your chest to move on, do it because you don't want to live with regrets. And at the end of the day, like you said, you want to talk to no wall, you won't talk to no ashes, you won't talk to no tombstone, no grass. Like, talk to that person. So no stones left unturned. And even like I said with myself, like I'm gonna continue to help make the relationship with my father better, even though like I still am dealing with it. But to know that we all can evolve and we all can grow from this and be better people. And most importantly, like through this podcast, like I said, because it's therapy, we can help somebody else be better.
Right.
So,
Right.
Auntie Linda, I appreciate you. And fellas, I appreciate y'all. I really appreciate y'all. And to all our viewers, sharers, and everybody, I really appreciate y'all for sharing things that happen with y'all or things that y'all are going through. And this is what this is for. And I'm so happy we were able to get these things out to where we can address it and that we can show people, and not only show people, be a testimony to what can happen. We all not perfect, but let's be there for one another. And this is one of the things that we can do to be there for each other. So Auntie Linda, we thank you.
Thank you. And this was no coincidence. Y'all got to see the big picture. I know y'all see it. This is God doing something here. He's doing something here. He's healing a whole bunch of folks right now. Let him do it. Let him do whatever he want to do in you, because God is starting to, this was by design. We're all here by design. This is not an accident. This was not just a coincidence. We're here by divine appointment because God has some things he wants to do in each one of us. Everybody hearing, everybody that's out there, let it go and let God heal you. Let him do what only he can do. Because oftentimes you don't even know what to do. You don't even know how to reach the person. But God knows what to do. Give it to him. Give him all your hurts. Give him all your pain. Just release it. God, I don't want to carry it anymore. I don't want to be like this anymore, Jesus. I give it to you, God. And I ask you to do what only you can do. We have to be that open with him. And guess what? He loves us so much that he's going to do it. But I want y'all to just recognize this is a God moment. God is doing something here. Nobody's getting the glory but God. So let him do what he do. Because he loves us so much, he don't want us to hurt. God doesn't want you to be hurting. He wants you to be healed. And this is an opportunity where he's starting to heal some people. So let him do it. Let him do it. Do whatever he tell you to do. However he tell you to address it, just do it. Just do it. Because it's going to be for your own good. Amen.
Amen. I see your rock behind you, cuz. Hey, Cassandra.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing?
Hello.
So
I see your warrior behind you.
Yep. Man, so we just we are so grateful. Like you Matt put it in perfect words for you, and we are just so grateful because we expected something incredible, but got something 10 times better than that, and
Yes.
and we just go. I'm hoping that every single interview from this point on be just this more impactful, and like I said, we just grateful for you to start it off the way that you did for us, and what we want to do even further for you is just we want to keep getting this. Let's if we can, fellas, if y'all can, one of y'all can type the names of her book and information. We're gonna put it on our page as well, but we're gonna put this in the notes in the comments. We got nuggets to live by. And also, I know you showed. Could you put up your other book as well, so we can see it?
A letter and a prayer to married couples. This is for people that are wanting to get married or that are married. You need to get this one. This will help you out a lot in your marriage. Because with COVID, everybody spending a lot more time together, and sometimes the marriage is getting like, too much togetherness. But you need to read this, and it'll help you out. Amen.
All right. And also, these can be picked up. Is it Amazon? Is it anywhere else they can pick it up?
Amazon.com, Barnes and Nobles, anywhere books are sold. The Nuggets to Live By is an ebook form as well, but this one is just in hard copy because it was just recently released, but it will be an ebook eventually. But Amazon.com is like the main place you want to get it from.
I tell you, I'm going to your house. I want a signed copy of both
All
of the
right,
books.
come on.
Put this out there. I know you really did some touching on every single one of us tonight, so we are so glad, man. This is beyond words how happy we are. Miss, I'm going to give you everything. Author, pastor, former federale. I mean,
Cut out. Stop.
godmother and auntie, Miss Linda Faye Anderson. We thank you for being on our show tonight. So much, all of y'all. We thank you, Mackenzie. We thank you for sharing. Everybody else, Jordan, Matt, everybody else that was sharing tonight, man, incredible. Also, next week, we're going to have a guest. We're going to have a married couple. I know we said women history, but they're together, so I'll put married couples together.
Yeah. I can't wait for next week for this couple that's coming on.
Individuals, I'm telling you. I am telling you, you got to be here next week for these two. You got to be here next week. The Heels. Look to the Heels. Next week, we're going to have, I put it into.
Does that mean something? Look to the Heels?
Yeah, look to the Heels.
Does that mean something?
There you go. Look to the Heels. Because they're pastors, philanthropists, Byron, and Felicia Heels.
I look forward to that. I'm looking forward to that.
You're going to love this. When you talk about two people that love being with each other, I'm telling you. Anybody out here that go, ain't nobody out here for me.
Man, I can't wait.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be really good.
Yeah, Felicia, we grew up like since we was puffs together in middle school, graduated college. Well, we didn't go to the same college, but aspirations to do things and to get married and have a family, man. Like me and Felicia, man, I can't wait for her to share her experiences.
It took me a while.
And my homeboy, my cousin Byron, man, like I can't wait to see y'all for sure.
It took me a while because I was like, this is my little sister. I was like, hold on, when you talk about you getting married, I'm like, excuse my language. I'm like, I gotta see this nigga. And I tell you,
he's amazing.
Together, if you see it, these two got amazing ministry together.
Yes, they do.
Amazing. So next week, Byron and Felicia Hills will be here. 7 o'clock. You see, we started on time. We ain't playing no games. We can't let our guests see us.
No, you always start on time because Auntie Linda was here. Don't even act like that. That's the only reason. Don't let him fool y'all. If Auntie wasn't on here, we'd be like 20 minutes late.
Yeah, we'd be.
But we're going to be on time next week.
We want to pull our very best out for you. We're going to do it for all our
Well, y'all did good.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. So next week, be here, 7 o'clock. Continue to share. We know y'all going to continue to view. And you know what? We never take. And the one thing we have done on this show, I'm so grateful for these two brothers that's been here with me for this show, is that we have to even look in ourselves and see that we got thousands, not hundreds, but thousands of views. And we understand that everything we put on the show, everything we display, that we accountable for it. And that's why we take the time and do everything as best as we can, because we ain't looking to be first. We're looking to be right. So for all my for our wonderful guests, Miss Linda Faye Anderson, to Jordan, Asian boy, Mr. Mac, I'll never call him Mac Daddy. Mac Reese.
What? I'm sending you the bill after that. I'm sending you the bill. Actually, I'm on. I'm going to Breakfast Club. I quit.
I thank y'all so much for tuning in next week here, 7 o'clock, Unfiltered. Man, can't wait. See y'all next week.